Hello and welcome to yet another episode of the Ugandan Podcast, brought to you by the Ministry of ICT and National Guidance in partnership with MultiChoice Uganda. Now, the last conversation was about fighting piracy, and we're still fighting that demon, but this time with regards to intellectual property. So what is it, what does it mean, and how is it actually crippling the economy when you do what you think is okay? So with me today, I do have the policy perspective as well as the individuals who are shaping the Ugandan sound and the Ugandan creative industry. So let me start with our guests who speak to the policy perspective. With me, I have Shirley Gladys Nakyejwe, who is an IP management specialist with the Ministry of ICT and National Guidance, and Nabasirye Elizabeth from the URSB. She works in the copyright department. And from the individual perspective, we have the man who is one of the people responsible for the Ugandan sound that it is today, Benon Mugumbya from Swangz Avenue, and Martin Muhumuza, who is the Research and Development Director at the UNMF, which is the Uganda National Musicians Federation. Thank you so much for making the time to be with us today.
Thank you for having us.
So maybe we should define the conversation before we get into it, because a lot of people might not fully understand what intellectual property is. So if I could start with you, Elizabeth, what is intellectual property and how does URSB fit into protecting intellectual property?
Thank you. So intellectual property, these are creations, property owned by creations from the mind. So intellectual property has different categories. We have trademarks, patents, copyright and neighboring rights, and geographical indications. So how does URSB fit in this, in intellectual property? URSB is the government agency that is charged with the duty of registering intellectual property.
Okay.
Yes. So URSB provides the framework for the registration. URSB advises government and different institutions in matters relating to intellectual property. URSB is a regulator for different, we have collective management organizations that enforce rights on behalf of the creators.
Okay.
So URSB oversees these CMOs to see that they are functioning or operating according to the law. URSB is also an arbitrator in issues where there are conflicts regarding intellectual property infringement. Yes.
Okay, well, thank you for that. Let's stay on the regulatory side, but maybe from the regulator to the policy makers. The Ministry of ICT and National Guidance is then mandated to support their efforts when it comes to IP. How does the Ministry of ICT fit in? I mean, they have a whole IP management specialist with the ministry. How does the ministry then support the protection and development of intellectual property?
Well, as a Ministry of ICT and National Guidance, its mandate is actually to enable that the environment is thriving.
Okay.
If it's the innovation ecosystem, can it thrive? Can the young people benefit? And how we're doing that in line with intellectual property is that we are working with the different agencies, for example, URSB, as well as other government bodies, to ensure that there is awareness, but then also facilitating the innovators in issues to do with registration processes, issues to do with management processes. But then on top of that, we have the national IP policy that was passed by Cabinet as a resolution. And what the Ministry of ICT did was to actually break that down, bringing this information closer to the young people. So we developed the ICT IP guidelines, because as ICT, our mandate is in line with ensuring the ICT ecosystem thrives. That is within our mandate. So we utilized the IP policy to break down that information for the innovators, and then we are actually taking that closer to the people. So we're working with our network of the regional innovation hubs as well as the public universities across the country to educate, the creators, the innovators, the various types of, ownership that is in regards to intellectual property. So if you are a designer and, you're a graphics designer, you come up with materials that has been generated electronically, and you're also going to disseminate this information, electronically.
Yes.
What are your rights? Are you going to put your information out there, your creatives out there to be utilized for free? Are you interested in getting, financial benefit from what you have designed, what you have spent, hours of work working on?
Yes.
So that is the information that we are putting out there and encouraging the young people to actually take a step further on top of just creating. Can you take a step further to register so that there is that, you have the authoritative evidence of that ownership? Yeah, because if you just, put your information out there, it can be utilized by competitors for free without acknowledging you per se.
Right.
But then you will have a tool if you have owned it and have tools, if it is a registration certificate. Then you can provide this as evidence that you're the owner and you have exclusive rights to say who utilizes this material, how is it utilized per se? Yeah.
Yes.
Is it for particular platforms? Can it be used on and for different functions? And that is the kind of those are the various forms that the Ministry of ICT is trying to support the ecosystem in line with different agencies.
So an individual registering themselves to get license and everything is actually protecting themselves.
No, it is not protecting yourself, but then it gives you, I'll give you an example of a piece of land. Okay. When you go ahead and buy a piece of land, yes, it is yours. But if you do not have the land title, then your ownership can be contested. Yeah, so it's the same thing with intellectual property. If you have a certificate of ownership for copyright for a certain, if it is a song, for example, if it is for a software code, then you have evidence. You can present it to the courts in case there are any conflicts, or you can present it in, partnership negotiations to say, well, this is my work. I developed this work and I have full ownership. So I can call the shots, on how you utilize it, on how you disseminate it, on how you earn from it. Yeah, will you give me a percentage of the sales from the way you're utilizing my work? Right. Will you just give me, will you just recognize that I participated in this process? Yeah, so that is how intellectual property works. It works like actual assets.
It is something tangible without being tangible.
Yeah, it's an intangible asset.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Well, coming to maybe the creative side, as a representative from the UNMF, and you so happen to manage Eddie Kenzo as well. So you work with artists on a daily basis. When it comes to the digital space, that's your major way of disseminating the music right now. Why is IP then so important for you on your end as well?
Like she said, I pick a few words from her submission. This is intellectual property. It's property from your intellect. It's not so different from your car or your land. Now imagine buying a car and you don't have its logbook. Yes, you'll drive it. No one will disturb you, maybe.
But they will.
But when that time comes, you'll have no case to present.
You have no claim to the car.
Yes. So I think, much as we have that automatic right of our creations, it's always good to protect these creations. If you have a song, a film, a picture, anything that comes from your intellect, a design of a logo or something, so that whoever uses it in the digital space or anywhere, how, you can go to them and be like, man, this is my work, and you're infringing on my rights. Or we always have those first talks, man, don't do this, you're wrong, this and that. Then they become big-headed, we go to courts, but you can't take just your words in courts.
Yes.
Yeah, so I think in the digital space, we must first protect what we create in order to claim that they're ours. Yes, they're ours, but then you need that ownership, that former ownership.
To protect, to monetize, to be able to earn.
Yes, you can still monetize and things go on well, but how will you blame Benon for using the same work on their platforms?
If you didn't protect it to begin with.
That will have to take you to courts. Then URSB comes in, you spend time discussing this and that. Yeah.
Okay, and now when it comes to violation of this IP, someone has taken your car without its logbook because you didn't get the logbook and everything. We're now going into the space of piracy. And as someone who has been in the creative industry as long as you have and production, piracy is something that you've experienced. If you have maybe a personal story or a situation that you were in to show how piracy can actually cripple a creative in the industry.
I have to come clean and say that a lot of us, the stakeholders, have facilitated the piracy.
Okay.
Yes.
Do tell.
Knowingly and unknowingly.
Right.
Or, just trying to bypass certain hiccups. I'll paint for you a scenario. Like 10 years ago, the biggest challenges of an artist or a musician, we didn't really have studios.
Right.
So the main thing was to, record a song. And, I remember back in 2001, the very first time we recorded our first song. That was a big deal. And then you would want that song to be everywhere.
Right.
You take it to the guys that duplicate and, because back then the goal was to just be known,
right.
For the song to play, and nobody cared about, this is my IP, I need to protect it, I need to. No, man, I just wanted the world to hear my music. So you find that a lot of us, the stakeholders, facilitated the piracy. I believe some still do up to today.
Yes.
Because all they want is, the work to be out there so that they can have the recognition, and then, they can maybe perform and later on in life fix things. So there needs to be a lot of sensitization, especially for us, as the stakeholders, because you find that we don't appreciate the value that we have, the IP that we create. We need to have a clear understanding that, what we have here, we need to have a title to
what it is that
to our property.
Yes.
And then, find ways of putting value to it and putting a price tag and all that. So, yeah, it's unfortunate, but yeah, I'm guilty of it. And I believe a lot of us, yeah.
To add on what he's saying, now he's speaking from the business side, but also the people that are creating, the musicians, the vocalists, the guitarists. Someone will come to a studio and play in a song, pay them 200,000 and then that's all.
Yeah.
But that's his intellect, that's his creation.
Yeah.
And in my opinion, I don't think this 200,000 is enough.
It's too little.
Yeah. But then, that's what you agreed.
Yeah.
That's what you've paid. So we need to sensitize all of us to know who has what band of rights. Yeah. And when I say all of us, I'm talking about everybody, the top musicians and the upcoming ones. Because literally when you talk to them, we all we all don't understand, let's say in copyright, we don't understand what it is. Yeah. Some people think like now the law is going to be amended and there are people out there saying, once the law is passed, we are good, we're going to be rich.
Yeah.
But no, it doesn't. Yeah. You don't become rich because the law has been passed.
Right.
You must understand what the law provides for and then what it can protect to make you rich. So we need to understand what literally intellectual property is.
So that is now the mandate of the URSB, to sensitize the public about the importance of IP and IP protection and piracy as well. And part of that effort to fix this problem that the Benons created and have perpetrated, unknowingly, of course, is
No,
the
sometimes
establishment.
knowingly.
Sometimes knowingly, but you're
Really?
willing to sacrifice now for the greater good.
Yeah.
So the
I
URSB.
don't know if it's for the greater good, but
Okay, let me say the temporary
For a good, not a
yeah.
greater one.
yeah.
for the temporary good,
Good,
not the
yes.
greater good. But one of the things that the URSB has done is set up a copyright department, copyright and neighboring rights department. How is something like that going to support IP protection and anti-piracy?
Okay, thank you. Let me first speak to what he had said previously. It's unfortunate that the creators themselves do not understand or do not appreciate the value of their work. So recently, we had a meeting with people in the film industry, and they were still complaining about piracy. But one of them said, no, we have to live with it. You see, we found it has been part of us, so there's no way we can fight it completely. So you see that they are losing, but they are compromising. They are willing to compromise, but this is unfortunate. So to answer your question, yes, URSB recently this year in March launched the Department of Copyright and Neighboring Rights. This copyright has always been there. The function has been there, though people are unaware of it. You hear many people saying, "Tetuina copyright in Uganda," but we've always been there. It has formerly been under the Directorate of Intellectual Property.
Okay.
So, from the cry of the creatives, mainly the musicians, government saw it fit to dedicate a department to copyright. The mandate of this department is to register. We advocate, we go out and sensitize the creatives. Yes, you get automatic copyright when you create your work, but please go ahead and register. So we're advocating for registration. We are regulating the CMOs, the collective management organizations, and also the sensitization, the mediations when these conflicts happen, and enforcement. URSB has a unit of enforcement. We collaborate with the Uganda police. So we go out and prosecute those who are infringing on your rights.
Although, even now, what about in the cases where maybe Benon's musicians are saying, you put it out there, even if it's a violation of their copyright.
But they're aiding it. So you can't prosecute if he's supporting it, then we cannot prosecute this person.
All right. And then outside personal gain, outside money in a pocket, there's a reason that even the government is stepping in to protect IP. So what is this IP protection then contributing to, let's say, innovation and the economy as a whole? Why is it so important that there's a whole IP management section in the Ministry of ICT and National Guidance?
Oh, yeah. Before I get to that, I just wanted to pick up from what she was saying about if you do not prosecute. And picking from the example that we're talking about the cars and the lands. Like, if you, the owner, do not have a problem for someone taking your property, then it's the same with intellectual property. Then the government cannot do anything about that because you are comfortable with that situation. So why the ministry thought it is important for us to step up and also play a role in this ecosystem is because as the Ministry of ICT, we are supporting the growth of the innovation ecosystem. And then you realize that we have a lot of young people. From the previous census, we have over 70% of our citizens being the young people. These young people are energetic, they are talented, they're very creative and innovative, and they have a lot of time on their hands. But then we're looking at ways in which this time is being utilized and how best they can benefit. Because just before this session started, we're having a conversation about people looking for jobs. You know, there is always that conversation about, there are no jobs, people are looking for money, and yet we have platforms within our reach that we can utilize to our benefit. So it was about us identifying various ways in which we can support the young people to fully optimize their innovation and creative capacity so that they can benefit and, eliminate. In Uganda, we are still we are still amongst the countries that are, in, middle. There was that conversation about why we are classified as middle income. We could have moved past that stage. And it's a collective effort. So looking out for different ways in which we can collectively improve on our GDP as a country. And this is through the economy. Through the young economy, through the creative economy, through the innovative economy, because we collectively contribute to the general, GDP of the country as a whole. So the ministry is basically playing a role in that ecosystem to support the innovators. If the gap was identified to be awareness, if the gap was identified to be sensitization or general appreciation on what is being done, or, and then why not make that information come closer to the young people? There is something about us looking at the bigger idea. I'll give us an example of, because it is ICT basically. So I'll give us an example of someone who has been contracted to develop a website, yeah? And then someone said that you would come in, from the example of the recording, you'd come in and you charge 200,000. So back to the example of the website, you come in and then you say, for me to design for you this work, I'm going to charge you 200,000. But onto this website, a lot of content is going to be created through the website. So you can earn from the website, but then also the other content being created, Even something as simple as the innovative way you have come up with the user experience, the interface design, that could be something that you have, thought about. If it is something as simple as creating an icon, a new kind of icon, these big companies that have come, that we are so proud to associate with, they actually optimize on even the smallest creations they come up with. Yes. If it is a sound of how the phone starts up, that is someone's intellectual property. And that is where you cannot find it being utilized by all kinds of, devices, because someone owns it. And before you use it, you have to actually get into an agreement with them. So you have to pay them. Unless they don't want to be paid, then you will need to recognize them. So it's how IP works is that it gives you the exclusive rights to decide who uses and how they use, and how you as an individual benefit. If you are not interested in financial, awards or rewards, then you can say, okay, well, just recognize. We are seeing a lot of, music being produced nowadays, and the producers are being acknowledged. Even the person who wrote the song, in some instances, they're being acknowledged. All that is intellectual property being fully exploited.
Okay. Well, as the government is working to support, because they can only do so much, Benon and Martin, you both work with the individuals. So maybe let me start with how the UNMF is helping people when it comes to protecting their productions online.
UNMF's mandatory, the best we are doing, all we can do is sensitization.
Okay.
Is mobilizing our people and telling them what they create, what it means for them in their future, what it means for them financially. Ours is to create a platform where they can all come together and share ideas. When you don't know something, you have someone to ask. I was talking to Benon before we started that he knows too much, and we need that as an industry. And maybe we have things we know that he doesn't know, and I'm sure he needs them because he ventured directly now into business as like music business. He doesn't sing that much, but he's into a lot of production. He's writing, he's producing, he's funding. So there are things he knows that we need to. So ours is mostly a platform of bringing these people together, musicians, producers, songwriters, so that a songwriter can ask a producer where the problem is. Where you see fights of musicians and producers, I think you saw it somewhere in past months, producers saying, "Abaimbi watuba," but then the musicians also saying, "We paid you." So we create that platform where they can sit and be like, okay, we have done what we have done.
Yes.
How can we move forward? How can we reconcile? So ours is mostly a platform of advocacy.
So basically letting them know
Yeah.
the implications of their actions. And how
Yes,
they can
but also working with, I know we've come to ICT several times, working with government agencies and MDAs in general to see where we have issues. For example, now in taxations, in copyright, we're always at URSB with different lawmakers, so that whatever is designed in the boardrooms there really, really talks to our problems.
Right.
Other than men in suits making decisions for us when we're not there. So we're trying to put ourselves out there to understand what they're doing. We've been fully involved in the amendment of the copyright law. So
nice.
it's mostly understanding what we are doing and making sure we represent our people to their benefit.
And now I'm curious about this so much that Benon has that he can
No, he's assuming.
that he can share with
But
us.
you missed out something.
Yeah.
There's and I keep telling a lot of our guys, like, there's power in congregating. A lot of our artists nowadays don't get that opportunity to interact not just with your fellow artists, but producers, managers. So that's a good thing that you guys are doing. And I always encourage people to go out and meet other people, even in different circles. There's a lot we can learn from each other.
Right.
Yeah. For us on our end, like I mentioned earlier, we were the enablers of piracy, simply because the goals were different. Yeah. But now, as you progress and start to put systems and build a proper business, because now business has to make sense.
Right.
If you're investing X amount of money, how are you recouping? I remember back in 2015, we ventured to build a streaming app for Ugandan music, and we wanted to integrate that with mobile money. And actually, we spent a lot of money on that app, and as we were about to launch it, other streaming services came in, and
International
it became
competitors?
Yes.
Okay.
And it became so easy. So we were figuring out, okay, how can I, if I've recorded my song, and the challenge was getting it to the consumer,
Right.
and I need to bypass the pirate, so which meant that I had to make it so easy for the consumer, so that the consumer doesn't have
need
to
the
go,
pirate.
doesn't need the pirate.
Yes.
It meant that, we had to find a way of making it easy to get the consumer to get the song. Anyway, to cut the long story short, we scrapped that, and we developed, we now have a digital asset management platform called Kelere. And it has made our work so easy. It manages our distribution. We also distribute not just for only our artists, but some of other artists that need our services. So what that does is, when there are processes before we release a song. Almost like in layman terms, we put fingerprints to all these assets that we put out, be it video, all our content. So even if somebody downloads our content and uses it, good thing nowadays, it's digital. If I'm putting out a song, even if you release it in Cambodia or, we are able to track it. And if we want to flag it, we flag it, or we can monetize from it. Yeah, most times we let you use the content, but we earn from it.
Right.
And that has really, really helped a lot. And we are able to keep track of, what's popping where, what's happening, where we're missing the money. Of course, it's not yet perfect, but it's a good start. It's rolling out well, and we are happy with what we are seeing so far, to the point that we are in talks with now big major labels, and they are taking notice and almost want to take over our platform. So yeah, let's see how that goes.
Well, we appreciate you undoing some of the problems that you created.
Yeah, and not me solely,
Not you solo.
Not
you solo. That's such an incredible stride. Yeah. But obviously, you can't do it alone, and that's why this conversation has to have all of these people. So I want to ask, from the URSB perspective, one of the important steps that someone can take is registering their IP. So what exactly goes into this process? How does someone register their IP? How much does it cost? Because I'm assuming it's not free. And normally, how long does it take?
So just like I shared, that there are various forms of IP, but I'll concentrate on copyright.
Okay.
So copyright, actually, it's very easy. Mm-hmm. It's 50,000. That's what you pay to URSB.
Okay.
And it's an online process. You download the form.
Thankfully.
So you log onto the website, URSB website, download this form. It's called Form 1. Fill it in, and you use, unfortunately, we are still scanning and sending it to the copyright email, copyright@ursb.go.ug. So if it's an individual applicant, you attach a copy of your national ID.
Oh, okay. That's very helpful, because people have a tendency to think that you can only register if you're attached to a company. So thank you for that.
An individual.
Okay.
Yes. Attach a copy of your national ID and a copy of what you're registering, the work you're registering.
Right.
So unfortunately, you'll have to bring a physical copy. If it's a book, you'll deliver it to any of our offices, any near you. So once we receive this application on our end, we process it, give you a notification that we've received it, and we give you a Gazette notice within 1 day. So you get a notice, take it to UPPC,
okay,
and run this notice, this advert, the Gazette, for 60 days. So this time is for, you might come and register claiming it's your work, but actually I may come, still Benon song, register it. So these 60 days are room for any objection. If within the 60 days there is no one who has objected, you return the Gazette, and then we issue a certificate. So 1 day when we receive the application, 60 days to run the advert in the Gazette, then another day to issue a certificate.
How much is it at the Gazette?
At the Gazette, I think it's 150.
So someone should prepare themselves with about 200,000 for the process.
But if you look at what you benefit in the long term, because copyright, once you register, it's not going to expire. Okay, it will expire, but your lifetime and 50 years after. So what you will have benefited, we look at it, and the 150, I assume it's worth it.
Okay. And in terms of this process, maybe you're working with this as well. And I'm assuming, again, the Ministry of ICT is working towards raising awareness to the public about the importance of registration, IP protection, and anti-piracy. Are there any initiatives, maybe activities that are going on at the moment to help that?
Yeah, and we are very key in developing tools, because that is, the tools go where you cannot reach. So on top of the IP guidelines that basically speak to issues to do with ownership, management, commercialization is very important, because like we're having the conversation about the growth of the economy. Like, we believe that if you improve your livelihood, then in the long run, you are improving the livelihood of the community. And then, so we also have the IP toolkit. So the process that Elizabeth has broken down is also broken down in that toolkit. So this toolkit is readily accessible online, and then also within the public universities. So there are some hard copies in there. Okay. So it can be downloaded off the Ministry of ICT website, and this is particularly to help this talent have this information easily accessible for them so that they can utilize them. Because if you do not know what to do, then you will not be in position to do it. So having these different materials closer to them is one of the ways we're doing that. But then we are also reaching out physically. Both online, we are having what we call intellectual property clinics, yeah?
Oh, okay.
So whereby we do them online and then also physically. And we basically call upon the innovators within our ecosystem, sector-wise, because as Elizabeth was saying, that various types of intellectual property. So we kind of theme them depending on what we believe would be the need of that particular sector. And then we bring these different agencies into the same place. We work with URSB directly. So if we need if an innovator is willing to register there and then, they can be taken through the process physically. But then we also work with some, firms, some law firms that can also help them, guide them on how to do what, and then who do you approach in case you have you've had infringement or conflicts. Yes. How do you go about those processes? And then we also work with civil society organizations as well as private sector organizations, because these are the people that are within the communities. Yes. So we work, it's a multi-sectoral approach, and that is one of the ways that we're reaching out to the communities and supporting and encouraging, the private sector to also support. So we are bringing this information to the leaders within the communities, and then the leaders can also bring it down to the young people, the creators, the actual creators within these environments. So basically that is it, because when you look at the national IP policy, and the roles of, because in there it stipulates what is the role of Ministry of ICT, what is the role of URSB, what is the role of, the different players within the ecosystem, if it is Ministry of Trade, for example. So one of our main roles is to ensure that there is sensitization, awareness, and then support.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, we appreciate that, and something I'm definitely going to look into as well as a creative. And now back to the creatives, both Martin and Benon, I'd like to hear, since we have the policy ears here and we have URSB's audience as well, what are maybe some of the other challenges that Eddie Kenzo and other musicians in the UNMF and Swangz Avenue artists, what other challenges are they finding trying to monetize their content online? Because at the heart of it, it's still a business. You're still trying to make money. So what are some of the challenges that you're facing? And maybe these ladies can take back some reports to even help you further.
Yes, Benon.
Internet is very expensive in our country.
I saw that banning.
Because, you see, the thing is, the main... It's a good thing now that a lot of our products are consumed online. Yeah, so there's some bit of management, not like back in the days where somebody had to burn a CD and, so that was very hard on our side, getting our product to the consumer. Right. So now, you could say 90% probably of our products are consumed online. But the costs, I don't know if you guys have the powers to influence the prices of data, but it would really help us out a lot. I see countries like Tanzania, artists are making a killing online. They easily, I know it's probably the population is bigger, but if you see the views on YouTube and the streams, they are way higher And I believe the internet costs play a big role. I don't know if my colleague here agrees.
No, I agree 100%. The internet in Uganda, I can't say more than what you've said. I think have a lot of things I think government needs to look into, but majorly is government needs to come in this creative sector. Okay, it sounds selfish, but I think our sector is the most relevant to the young people. Okay. They are the ones designing those softwares. Relevant, trust me. They are the ones designing those solutions, softwares, devices here and there, music, film. Which film will sell Uganda somewhere to bring a tourist? Now tourism is working. Which film is going to have a fashion designer who is going to bring in their angoye to make, I don't know the right word, and then trade is working. There's too much going on within the sector. So I think they need to come in and open their ears fully, not partial or politically. Sometimes they open them for some political reasons and then we go back to where we are, or where we were. But I think we are not so far from that. They're trying, but they need to come in more. Another thing is to do with these people of finance and ICT. I don't know, Benon, if you've noticed, Uganda is disconnected from the globe.
How so?
I'll give an example of TikTok. Today, TikTok is one of the major platforms where people have their content used almost every day. Their music is everywhere. Yes. You find a song of Chameleon having about 500,000 videos, and they're using that sound, but he can't monetize it. Or if he's using an aggregator that is taking almost 50%. Yeah. And then that aggregator has to go through another payment channel, and then Chameleon gets a 30 or 40%. Imagine. But there are platforms who distribute directly with TikTok. But when you're Ugandan and you want to, you maybe work with them, they tell you, no, our platform is not yet region, is not in your region. Yeah. And the reasons, if you go deep, are basically tied to the tax treaties we have with those countries. Things like PayPal don't work here in Uganda because the treaties we have.
Something with Meta. There are some restrictions because of,
yes, YouTube Red. YouTube Red doesn't work in Uganda. But the reason why they're not in our region is because we have not negotiated tax treaties. I don't know what it takes. Maybe the policymakers know better. If there's maybe some compliances we have to look into or something, but something we need to start thinking about if we want to join the globalization, as they say. Yeah.
So maybe we're not as far disconnected as you'd think. I don't know if you'd know this. Well, you would know this because you work in the URSB. We recently had an incident where Rolex, the watchmaker, came to register its trademark in Uganda because of our rolled eggs. Our Rolex. Can you speak on that, or did you hear about that?
Unfortunately, I've not heard about that. But that one I've not heard about.
So it came out a little while ago where Rolex had come and they wanted to register their trademark in Uganda as well because of notorious use of what it is that we do. But now I want to maybe put it to you and ask you about international rights. You have a copyright in Uganda. Does my copyright then extend abroad? And if some Swangz Avenue artists' copyright was violated or their music was pirated, let's say, in another country, Kenya, South Africa, wherever, how can the URSB then help that as well?
Unfortunately, URSB would not help if it's violated outside this jurisdiction.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Unless for, like I said about the collective management organizations, these ones sign reciprocal agreements.
Okay.
Yes, so you can find like, let me give an example of a film. There's one called Ajikoa. If we have Uganda musicians, UFMI for film in Uganda, the CMO.
Yes.
So if UFMI has signed a reciprocal agreement with AGICOA operating outside Uganda, it can collect or enforce on behalf of the member, its member whose rights have been infringed on. But URSB has no authority to do that.
But then I think also, taking back to Mr. Agawa, the new Department of Copyright, I think the department needs to have those same agreements, the reciprocal agreements you're talking about with things like ARIPO and WIPO. I think they do.
Yeah, those ones are
WIPO and AFRIPO and ARIPO. So I think URSB might not go to Kenya to enforce. But if there is a claim, URSB can write to ARIPO or to WIPO, and then WIPO will use their people or their offices in Kenya or in South Sudan or wherever to find help for you. That's if you registered
If
here.
you're registered.
Yeah.
Now see, we're even learning from each other. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah, just to elaborate on that a bit. Yes, we do have affiliation with ARIPO and WIPO. And how this helps us as a country is that, of course, you need to get your register for primary protection within your jurisdiction. And then URSB will facilitate, if you're interested in regional protection as well, with the member countries, yes. So it can facilitate. But just like she said, if you did not express interest and you did not register in those countries per se, then they cannot do anything. Because intellectual property is territorial, yeah, just like your piece of land. You can only seek for protection, or you can only claim for what you have, should I say, caged per se, yeah. So it's territorial, and that is some of the knowledge that the young people need to know. Because some people think that if I have registered, that is it. First of all, after registration, I don't have to do anything. I can sit back and relax. Yet you actually have to move your own product. Like you have to get into partnerships. You have to move this product so that you can earn from it. Yeah, so things to do with you need to advocate for your own product. Things to do with it does not necessarily mean that you have protection worldwide. Because then there are instances whereby an innovator will come on board and say, well, I already registered. So why is my product being freely utilized in China per se? But you did not express interest for protection in China. So the Chinese companies or entrepreneurs are at liberty to exploit you.
They have no obligation to you.
They do not have any obligation.
You know,
to you
Omobi, it's not their job to protect your home.
Exactly.
Yeah, and you must protect your home.
It's like installing security cameras in your home, and then you sleep back and relax. Right? Okay.
Yeah, you must check.
Yeah.
have to check.
Kasamba labi.
Okay.
Okay, so let's stick to that implementation of more than just registering and you go back and live your life like nothing has happened. That is clearly one of the challenges that the Ministry of ICT is facing. I mean, you have the toolkit going out and you have the clinics going on, but what are some of the other challenges that you've faced as the Ministry of ICT and National Guidance in implementing these IP protection frameworks?
Well, I think all these challenges are kind of interrelated, and the conversation that we've been having speaks to most of them. The issue to do with low levels of awareness, because we've had lots of exploitation happening, basically because we are not aware. We do not know the worth of what we are producing. And then, of course, capacity, because Elizabeth would tell us that we miss out on protection in some areas because of incomplete applications. You go onto there and then, sometimes we are lazy as well. But you do not, if they ask you for national ID, for example, you will be like, why do they even want my national ID? Yeah. So things like that. So you do not complete the application, and then you'll blame that.
You say, but you didn't protect me.
on the system that is not working. But then also apart from that, I think basically understanding like what is required, because how you do do the registration, there is a way you're supposed to craft your, if it is trademarks per se, you're supposed to go to identify certain classes of your innovation that will make it valid. So if you choose, if say you are a production house and then you choose a different classification while you are applying, then you will not be given the ownership. If you choose clothing, for example.
I think, sorry to come in.
Yeah.
I had a challenge on that same thing as registering a certain trademark. And you see, when you go on that site, it's a list of numbers, 42, 15, 16, 4, 0, 6. And you don't know which number is for what sector. Yeah? If I didn't know somebody, now the Gambanogu comes in. If I didn't know somebody in URSB to ask what these numbers mean, I was going to end there. Yeah? So I think sometimes people fail to proceed because of the system is complicated. Kindly make it easier. If it's 47 for fashion, let it be clear that this 47 represents fashion. Kindly take that back.
That will be taken back. But then also the other thing, just speaking to that and why those numbers are there, why those classifications are there, is because creation and innovation is such a wide scope, you know? So every day, actually, new classifications keep coming up. So that is why it's a whole long list. And we actually advise, when we're out there, we advise the creators to seek for help. You don't actually necessarily need a Gambanogu.
You just have to ask for
They
help.
talk long to reply.
You do have to ask for help,
They take long.
not from, that's why we have all these players within the ecosystem, the farms, the ministries, URSB has a department, yes, and then also in the innovation. So what we have done is actually we are empowering the innovation hubs so that in case one of the innovators within their, say, within the university or within the community comes up, they know, if they do not have the knowledge to help them, they know who to reach out to. So it doesn't have to be a Gambanogu, but someone who is knowledgeable in that area to give you the right guidance. Yeah.
I also have to say, it doesn't have to be a Gambanogu, because right now URSB has spread out across the country. Almost every area you go, you will find a URSB office or a representative. So you can approach this. You're saying we take long to respond. I don't think it's true.
You do.
We have a call center. You call, and as long as you call between 8 to 5, you'll be attended to. Our email is open. You'll get feedback.
And
But we are
8
here.
to
We can
5.
raise.
I was actually just about to extend my appreciation to you guys.
Thank you.
Because usually when we, let's say, develop a property, like an event, most of our events are trademarked.
Yes.
I'm not involved in that process, so I don't know how complicated it is. But our lawyers are like, we got this, So I hope it's not as complicated as
Maybe he
as
registered
better.
back in the day, but right now our
You
services
see, on
are...
this podcast, we'll have the discussion off. But I think, we love complaining, which is a wrong thing. But there's too much that has changed at URSB because now anyone can register from anywhere.
Yes.
I'm not asking you to be perfect because definitely every day new updates come in. First of all, I'll follow Benon to appreciate you. Like I said, anyone can register from anywhere. obrs.sarada, and then you have your system running. But there are a few things that need to be, it's feedback. The responses, the list of classifications she talked about, it's good, but let it be clear that number 43 is for this product or this sector. It's easier. I don't need to disturb you calling you every day. Sometimes I'll call, and Benon has also called, so your line is busy. But if I saw it already, I don't need to call.
But that is the mandate of the call center. You call. You call. Call.
It is, but it's better if I don't call. I prefer having everything clear.
Because you find maybe somebody wants to register something And they make that one phone call and they'll say, utabakwata masimu.
Yeah.
You know? The easier we make it. And also maybe one small thing, it's a privilege for some of us to, we are able to rub shoulders with people like you. But that's not for everyone, So we need to come off as approachable. You know what I mean? I don't know what you need to do, but the 20-year-old me,
they've created the Ugandan podcast to disseminate this information.
Okay, so these are very, very good initiatives, because if somebody can get to watch this, if the internet is affordable, you see what I did there?
We go back there.
It makes, for us to be able to have this dialogue, it gives the ministry a good look, the URSB a good look that, okay, these are humans. These are, they are passionate about this thing. Oh, they care about us, which wasn't the case 10, 15 years ago. It felt like, these are men in suits and, So, thank you for doing this. But, let's not stop here.
Yeah.
Let's walk the talk.
Yeah, also for sensitization. Sorry.
No, just to respond to what you raised earlier and what he also raised earlier about the costing. Those are conversations that are still taking place. But I think of course, we are taking baby steps, but there is, improvement along the way. And then one of the ways that the ministry has tried to support is, just like you mentioned earlier on, the issue of collaboration. So it is encouraging, and that is why we're setting up innovation hubs and BPO hubs across the country. So it's encouraging these young people to be in one area because it is easier for them to subsidize costs for, say, a certain area. But those conversations are still happening. And they're still in Parliament, and we hope that we shall get to a level whereby we can comfortably say that it is, that we are all happy. And then the issue to do with, I think you mentioned something about, I've forgotten.
Talked about a lot.
Like you said, musicians, you talk a lot.
The complicated registration process?
No. Yeah, I think I forgot it. When I remember, I will.
Yeah. I think we also need to think about modes of sensitization. Because you talked about the Gazette. I can tell you, 0.1% reads that Gazette in this country. And unfortunately, that's where laws, policies, and everything is published. And people are caught off guard, and then they get to court by government agencies. Court will tell them, we published this in the Gazette of 14th September, this and this year. But we all know that no one reads those things. People, they are there because it's, mandated, as the Constitution says and all that, but people don't go there. So I think we have to understand now the market we are in today. Back then, people read the newspapers, the Gazette and everything. Now we need to understand our target. Where are the people getting their information? You wake up, before you sleep, even after prayer, you have to look at your phone. Before prayer in the morning, you look at your phone. People, you'll ask someone, what do you do before you wake up? And they skip that bit. We all look at our phones first. So you need to understand the target. This information has to be out there. How do we get it to them?
Right.
Yeah. So we understand our target audience and how to communicate to them. But if you tell me it's in the Gazette, my dear,
like
very
Shirley
few people
said,
even know
it's
that
a
the
work
Gazette
in progress.
exists.
The conversations are happening. The government is doing a lot. And I'd like to add to both of you to say thank you to URSB and for the Ministry of ICT for all the work, for actually listening to the people of Uganda. And thank you for all four of you for dedicating the time to have this conversation. But before I release you, it would be remiss for me not to ask you this final question. The musicians in your ears. Let me start with you, Mr. Music Man. Your top 2 Ugandan songs at the moment.
Oh, What? Yeah. At the moment.
That's why I added at the moment, because it's hard for you to play favorites. But as of today,
Is it a question for all of us?
yes, it is.
Now you're giving them time to think of this. You put me on the spot. My God. Nothing is coming to my. It's a stupid song that's coming to my head, but
Please say it.
Say it. Let the owner be happy, please. Do it.
Okay. I'm thinking Ducks Vibes and Chitaka. Okay, that sounds weird because it's
okay.
From in-house.
It's okay.
It's okay.
It's just a testament that you create quality work.
Banange, I'm blank.
She said only 2.
Just two. Anyone that you're listening to, Elizabeth?
There's one by Silver Chagulanyi, but unfortunately I don't know. There's a song that is trending right now by Silver Chagulanyi, but I don't know the title. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Any other? One. Okay. Shirley, you're a musician at the moment.
They have given me time to think.
Let me check most played.
Your playlist.
Okay, I think Offhead, Wrong Places by Joshua Baraka. And then, it had come, but now it has escaped.
You all stopped at one. R&D of UNMF, who is in your ears?
So, I listen mostly these days to Nguro Zako, Kenzo. I'm not afraid of
playing favorites.
But then there is that new Azawi song. I know she's released a couple of them, but there's that song of Talking Stages. The crafts and how we all don't think about it, but we all do it. It's great. It brings me back the Radio Moses literature, and I love it. I can add a third one. It's
Please,
new.
go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
There's a new song for Jamie Culture called Veronica. I just love the emotions in it. Yeah.
Women-named songs tend to do that, by the way. If you've seen Dalida and everyone else, as long as a woman's name is in the title, it will sell. But thank you so much again for the information. Thank you for your time. Thank you for making the strides that you have towards IP protection.
You have not told us your 2 songs.
Do I have a favorite?
You should. We were not supposed to have.
God is my birthday. Right now?
Right now.
I don't know why. When it came out, it didn't seem to be a favorite. Like I would listen to it, but right now I really, really like it.
Maybe God has been
Maybe. God is my birthday as always. And thank you for being our birthday by tuning into the Ugandan podcast. Please remember to stream legally. Do not pirate anything. And remember to stay connected. Until next time, be blessed.